Dr. Mitra, Director NCMRWF, and Dr. Mishra, Director NCS, Ms. Indra Murthy, Joint Secretary, Directors of all other institutes who are attending this function live, and colleagues. To start today's function, the 15th Foundation Day function of MOES, we'll have a recorded lecture from the Secretary General WMO, Dr. Petteri Talas. So we'll start this recordings too. And after that, from 3 o'clock, we'll have the actual function when we have, after the arrival of the Honorable Minister of Earth Sciences.
लेक्चर कौन सा सर आपका?
WMO के करना
वो वीडियो ओके.
So greetings from WMO in Geneva, and thanks for the invitation to address you at this important annual event that you are having. And I would like to especially greet the ministers who are present, and also the PR of India, and also all of the colleagues and friends of Earth System, the Ministry, and the Weather Service of India. I will show you some slides about climate change, about disasters, and how the situation with climate mitigation and adaptation looks like from United Nations perspective. So I will share you some slides and have my presentation based on PowerPoint material. So in the UN, we are just preparing for the Conference of Parties, which will take place in Glasgow this November, and some of the work that we are doing at WMO is also very much the scientific and technical input to that meeting. And as you know, WMO is the UN specialized agency on weather, climate, and water. And almost all of the UN members are also members of WMO, and we are the second oldest UN agency, and we are very much coordinating the work of national experts, and we have high-level experts also from India and also from Indian academia, and now we have also opened the doors for private sector. We are also the hosting agency of IPCC, and IPCC will publish its sixth assessment report starting on 9th of August this year, so fairly soon. And then United Nations Secretary General Guterres, he has been establishing a special working group of UN climate principles, and I'm one of those. And the mission that we are dealing with is we are observing the climate, and we are also having plenty of activities related to climate research, like World Climate Research Program and hosting of IPCC Secretariat. And of course, our core business is to ensure that all of our members have proper weather, climate, and hydrological services. And nowadays we are also dealing with Earth system approach rather than talking about weather, climate, hydrology, and oceans as separate items. And we are ensuring that we have a proper global observing system. And then about half of our members need assistance in our field. There's a need to strengthen their national service capabilities, and we are also dealing with that. And then we have just carried out a major reform of WMO and to use the resources of our members in a more effective way. We are running several centers worldwide which are dealing with forecasting and climate, and we are also happy with your activities, especially in Pune and New Delhi, which are contributing to the global community. Thanks for those efforts. We have just finished many of our reform items. We went from 8 technical commissions to 2 technical commissions, and we started favoring Earth system approach and also multi-hazard approach in services. And we have now opened the doors for private sector, and we have also wider participation of academic sector in our work. We have, for example, scientific advisory panel, which is giving us guidance on the future and which consists of world-leading experts. We have also aligned our structures with the new constituent body structures, and we opened all of the director posts for applicants, and we have also we are in the process to reallocate resources to hire more young experts to WMO, which are strengthening our capacity in regional activities, in technical and scientific matters. We have a fairly strong position worldwide in communicating the status of climate, and together with other UN partners, we are publishing also on an annual basis United in Science reports, and our meetings have become shorter and more action-oriented, and we have now very active cooperation with several UN partners like Secretary General Guterres, those who are dealing with climate, food security, oceans, hydrology, aviation services, marine services, and also air pollution. And we have been able to mobilize more resources than ever for assisting our less developed country members, and our current portfolio is about 220 million Swiss francs. We are just carrying out a management training program to enhance the quality of leadership, and at the next Congress in October, you are supposed to approve a new package for regional reform. We have already reshaped our Congress Executive Council and Technical Commission businesses, and the remaining parties is these regional activities that we will agree at our extra Congress in October. And for us, it's very important that the whole value chain works very well. We have to have proper observing systems, weather, climate, and water, ocean observing systems, and this has to happen in real time. And we have better ground-based observations, satellite observations, balloon, vessel, aircraft observations. And then the centers like you in India, you are using global models for forecasting, and then we issue services and disseminate those services through various channels. And finally, it's important that various users and customers of the data, they understand the meaning of those issues, and that's sometimes a challenge, that the impact of those forecasts is not very well understood, and we are just promoting such things that all of our members would be also able to forecast the impact of high impact weather, for example. We are also in the process to revise our data policy. Our data policy was established already in mid-90s, and there we have been only dealing with weather data, and also what is described as essential data. That's a bit outdated. So that's why we have now new proposal which we will agree also at our Congress in October to deal with Earth system data, and we will also define which are the core data which shall be exchanged freely worldwide. And then we have also other category which is recommended data, and this is the way to enhance the value of the business worldwide, and also this would be highly valuable for all of our members. We have major challenges with the observing systems worldwide. Some of our members don't have enough stations, and some of them are not delivering enough data for global use. And on the left-hand side of this map, you can see reddish colors, those countries which are not having proper observing systems, so they are not delivering data for global use. And you can see that it's mostly in Africa, Caribbean and Pacific islands, and some parts of Latin America, and there are also individual Asian countries like Afghanistan where this is a challenge. And typically those countries who have that challenge, they are least developed countries, and we have created a new financing initiative called SOF to get $400 million floating for further investments in the basic observing systems in those data sparse countries. And then we have also other capacity development activities. We have, for example, CRUISE, which is supporting development of early warning services at the national level, and we have been able to assist more than 50 countries with those resources. And then we have also, for example, 85 million euros from European Commission to improve the climate services at national level. At the extra congress, which will take place in 3 months from now, we will approve this new data policy, and it has been handled at various bodies so far, and we will have specific info days for all of the regions in late August, early September, to make sure that all of our members are happy with the package. And also this regional reform will be approved there, and there we are planning to go more to the basics, to concentrate on improvement of the observing systems and service capabilities of the members, and also here the regional priorities while defining the WMO strategy for which are approved by our Congress. And then this financing and the basic observing system standard, that those are supposed to be approved. Then we are supposed to deal with water-related issues and also water climate related issues. Now I would like to show you some slides concerning what we have observed in the climate system. And as I said, we are providing regular status of climate reports, and together with other UN agencies also something related to emissions and climate mitigation. First of all, we have so far observed 1.2 degree warming, and this warming continues, and we have year-to-year variability, which is very much related to El Niño, La Niña variability. Last year was a strong La Niña year, and that's why we didn't break all-time high, but 2016, which has been the warmest year so far, that was boosted by strong El Niño. And last decade was the warmest decade on record, and last year we had highest ever recorded temperatures both in Asia and in Europe, but in southern hemisphere you can see lots of bluish color, which is related to this La Niña. And main greenhouse gases concentrations, we have been again breaking records, and in most important one of those, carbon dioxide, we have been breaking already 410 ppm level, and despite of this COVID lockdown. And this is the which gases are behind the warming so far. Carbon dioxide has contributed 2/3 of it, and methane about 1/6, and the difference between methane and carbon dioxide is that the methane has lifetime of 11 years, whereas carbon dioxide has lifetime which is more than 100 years, and it's very slow to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And this is what has happened to the carbon budget since 1850s. We have started seeing growing amount of sources coming from use of fossil energy, coal, oil and gas, and at the moment land use is contributing about 14%, and that's very much deforestation in tropical areas of Latin America, Africa and Southern Asia. Oceans and lands serve as a sink of carbon, and the rest remains in the atmosphere. Last year we were having plenty of anomalies. We had severe drought in both North America and South America, and some spots elsewhere, and we had severe flooding problems in in Eastern Asia, especially in China, which is indicated with the red color here. And we broke again several temperature records, and we also measured largest amount of hurricanes in the Caribbean ever. Water is also one of our expertise area, and this map is showing areas where we have water stress already today, and you can see lots of red color also in India, and you are having both drought and flooding problems in your country. I'm sure that your national experts are best in explaining those. And we have started building a UN-wide consortium to give a boost to the Sustainable Development Goal 6 implementation, Water Climate Accelerator, and that will be launched later this year. And population growth is also a challenge. We have less water available in many parts of the world, and at the same time the population is growing, and this population growth is a problem, especially in Africa and some parts of Middle East and Southern Asia, as you can see on the map. Sea level rise, so far we have seen about 26 centimeters sea level rise, and during recent years there has been a boost in sea level rise. That's been between 3 and 4 millimeters per year, whereas in the past it used to be 1 to 2 millimeters per year. And the predictions for the future, they're going to be higher than earlier. And in the worst case, we would even see more than 2 meters sea level rise if, by the end of this century, if the melting of Antarctic glacier would happen in a speedier manner than before. But there has been, for example, a doubling of the melting of Greenland glacier during the past 20 years. And melting of glaciers, that has been speeding up. You can see that how this mass of glacier has been shrinking, and that's bad news. For example, in Asia, where the big rivers of India, in India and China, for example, they have their origins from the glaciers of Himalayas, and that means that in the longer run you will get less water in your rivers. And largest changes we have seen in the Arctic, where we have melted already more than 70% of the sea ice mass, and we have the so-called multi-year ice has practically disappeared. And the World Economic Forum is estimating on annual basis what are the biggest risks for world economy, and the most likely risks that we are having. They are related to extreme weather events, but of course during the last year and also this year, this COVID has had a big impact. Here we have an estimation what has happened, or statistics what has happened during the past 20 years in major natural disasters. And if you look at India, you can see that you have been exposed to both flooding and drought events, and also sometimes you have been exposed to tropical storms, and of course you have been exposed to also tsunami challenges like the one in 2004. And during the past 20 years, about 2 billion inhabitants of the world, they have been exposed to a flooding event, 1.5 billion have been exposed to major drought event, and less than 1 billion have been exposed to major tropical storm event. And there has been a growth, especially in the amount of storms and also flooding events, and some increase also in the heat waves and droughts. And our colleagues at the IMF, they have estimated what has been the impact of 1 degree warming on the global economy, and all these reddish colors indicate negative change, and greenish indicate positive change, and whole southern hemisphere and the low latitudes of northern hemisphere like India, they have already faced a slight negative impact on their economy because of higher temperatures, evaporation and less rainfall, and sometimes also flooding challenges. IPCC published its 1.5 degree report almost 3 years ago, and there they demonstrated that it would be best for the welfare of our planet and mankind to aim at reaching 1.5 degree warming rather than 2 degrees warming. And if you would like to reach 1.5, we should bend this emission growth curve during the coming 5 years and become carbon neutral by 2050. And if you would like to reach the upper limit of Paris Agreement, we have 20 years time to bend emission growth curve, and we should be carbon neutral by 2070. And these are some scenarios for precipitation changes in the upper panel for 1.5, 2 degrees and 4 degrees warming. And in the lower panel you can see what is supposed to happen to soil moisture in those cases, and in all of the cases, both in rainfall and soil moisture, in India is supposed to become more humid, and soil is supposed to become more moist. So that's and also you expect to see more rainfall, and that means that you may expect to see more flooding problems. And of course, this overall sea level rise and coastal inundation cases during a tropical storm event, they may lead to major coastal flooding problems, especially in southern parts of your country. And the main challenge ahead of us is to reduce the amount of use of fossil energy, and also stop especially deforestation in the tropical forest zones. And here you can see which countries have caused these emissions. Classically, the developed countries, Europe and USA, but China has become #1 emitter, and their energy setup is very much based on coal-fired power production. But there has been also a fairly dramatic increase of the emissions in non-OECD countries like Indonesia, Brazil, and so forth, which is this grayish area here. And last year we have seen, last 2 years we have seen both emission drops and emission growths, and here we have China, USA, European Union, India, and the whole world. And you can see that last year there was an overall drop of about 7%, in your country about 9% drop. But the estimation for this year is that there would be you would go back to this kind of emission growth curve, and that has already happened in China. And the challenge ahead of us is, if we want to be successful with mitigation, is to change our energy consumption. Here is a graph showing what are the sources of energy for power production, industry, transport and housing sector, and it's 85% based on coal, oil and gas, and only 15% based on nuclear, hydro and renewables. And if we would like to be successful in climate mitigation, we should revert those numbers to have dominant part of our energy production based on nuclear, hydro and renewables. And for example, in India you have fairly big potential for renewables, both solar and wind, and of course nuclear might be also part of your solution. And this is a vision of European Union, which published its carbon neutrality plan last week, and you can see here the magnitudes of various factors. Power production is the biggest source of emissions. Second is transport sector. Third is industry, and thereafter we have housing and agriculture, but the key sectors are power production, industry and transport sector. And there has been also lots of attention to carbon sinks, to vegetation, especially to forests, but and there's a plan to enhance this sink a bit, but the big picture is the reduction of use of fossil energy. And then just a curiosity that in UK in England, or in 1306, King Edward said that he would like to prohibit coal burning in London to enhance the air quality there. And air quality is also one of the issues which is linked to these emissions. Once we use fossil energy, we also often cause emissions of particles. Here we have PM 2.5, and you can see lots of color in Sahara and the Arabic Peninsula, and that's very much coming from the sand and dust storms. But in China and northern parts of India, there's also a strong human component embedded in those emissions. And here is another pollutant, nitrous oxide, which is also coming from the burning processes, and the most polluted area in that respect is China, but there's also lots of color in your country and also in Central Europe and Eastern North America. And these air pollutants, they are having health impacts, and they are affecting lungs, and they are even affecting brains. And we are working together with the World Health Organization and for mortality statistics. So it's an important challenge, and it's of course a major challenge also in your country, in India. We are just preparing for the COP26 meeting in Glasgow, and the good news is that we have plenty of countries who have shown interest to become carbon neutral by 2050 or 2060, and at the moment we have about more than 70% of the global emissions behind new pledges, which would indicate something like 2.5 degree warming by the end of this century. And our aim at the UN is to reach, is to go closer to the upper limit of Paris Agreement, and that's our aim is that there will be 90% of the global emissions behind such targets by the end of November this year. And finally, I'd like to say that climate change is not only a matter of climate, that it has more implications through its impacts, and we foresee that there will be major challenges with agriculture in many parts of the world, in northern, southern Africa, Mediterranean region, both Americas, also India and China are supposed to suffer because of the change, and only the few parts of the world in northern high latitudes might benefit from that change. And world economy wise, it has been shown already a long time ago that it would be much cheaper to mitigate rather than live with the consequences of climate change. And it's of course a major challenge for countries which are exporting oil and gas, especially Russia and Arabic countries, and that's not an easy transition for them. And Africa is clearly one of the victims already, and in the future, and the population growth makes the case even more challenging. And also Europe will suffer, especially in southern part, and we have seen growing amount of immigration because of climate change, especially from Africa. With these words, I would like to congratulate you for your anniversary, and I would like to thank you for excellent cooperation. I have personally a long history of cooperating with your IMD and also with the Terry Institute, and I'm impressed of the quality of the work that you are doing in India, and I'd like to thank you also for your great contribution for the success of WMO. Thank you.
On behalf of MOES, I would like to thank Dr. Petteri Telas, the Secretary General of WMO, for having agreed to give this Foundation Day lecture. I also like to thank Dr. Mahapatra, DG IMD, and Dr. Giri, who have made the arrangements, have talked to WMO in getting this video recording from WMO. Coming to the next agenda for this afternoon is the release of the mobile app Pune Weather Live. The Pune Weather Live mobile app is a step forward by the India Meteorological Department towards better location-specific, real-time weather updates and last-mile connectivity. The Surface Instrument Division CRS office of IMD Pune worked as a nodal division and brought out the Pune Weather Live app with data of more than 80 weather stations, which is live, including rainfall data every 15 minutes, live to its users. This mobile app is the outcome of collaborative efforts of IMD, the Water Resources Department, WRD Pune, and other institutes, colleges, schools, NGOs, and farmers, and IMD officials for sharing their available network and land to get this mobile app operational. It provides data from different resources under one umbrella. I'll now invite Secretary Dr. Rajajivan to inaugurate this mobile app. Yes.
One.
Yeah.
Yes. No, one. Forward.
Yeah. So. Thank you, sir, for inaugurating this mobile app. For the next event, probably we'll have to wait till the arrival of the Honorable Minister of Earth Sciences, and hopefully we'll start the event at 3 p.m. Good afternoon. The Honorable Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh will be arriving shortly and will start the program as soon as he arrives. Good afternoon to our colleagues and friends who are watching this program live. The Honorable Minister has arrived and will start the program very soon. Thank you. Hello. Hey, okay, we are ready. नमस्कार। पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय के स्थापना दिवस पर आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत है। On behalf of Ministry of Earth Sciences, I would like to invite the Honorable Union Minister of State for Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Atomic Energy, Space, DOPT, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to kindly come on to the dais. I'll also request Dr. Rajivan, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Shri Vishwajit Sahai, Additional Secretary and FAMOES, and Ms. Indra Murthy, Joint Secretary, to come on to the dais. I would now request Dr. Rajivan, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, to give the welcome address.
Good afternoon, all of you. Respected Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Honorable Minister for Earth Sciences, Dr. Peter Talas, Secretary General of WMO, Mr. Vishwajit Sahai, ASFA, Ms. Indra Murthy, Joint Secretary, respected past secretaries of MOES and Department of Ocean Development, all my dear colleagues of Ministry of Earth Sciences, and all distinguished invitees. First of all, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, for kindly sparing his valuable time in joining with us on this Foundation Day. Thank you very much, sir. I welcome all of you to the 15th Foundation Day function of Ministry of Earth Sciences. As all of us know that Ministry MOES was formed in 2006 after merging 3 meteorological institutes to then the Department of Ocean Development to bring in a holistic approach in delivering valuable services in earth system sciences. This was a historical move which provided great dividends in terms of significant achievements in all areas of our work. We need to sustain these developments further so that our services can be further strengthened. The demands for improving existing services and initiating new areas of services are increasing. We need to rise to the occasion and meet this requirement. And all of you know that we are now finalizing the new schemes for new plan period 2021-26, and we have a big agenda to come on both the weather and climate services, ocean science and ocean development of ocean technology, and polar sciences, as well as seismological services. And an important activity which we are going to start now is the Deep Ocean Mission, which was launched last month. And it is a unique flagship program of the Ministry of Earth Sciences, making India a world leader in ocean science and technology. MOES also will be leading the blue economy policy of the Government of India, which is in now final stage. We are also planning to start research work in developing prediction tools for weather and climate and ocean services based on ALM methods. We already set up a virtual center at IIT Pune for AI and ML applications. We are also going to set up a Center for Excellence in Radar Meteorology at IISc Bangalore for strengthening research and training in radar meteorology. We understand and appreciate the value of Earth system science data, which should be freely available for researchers, students, and policymakers. In that connection, MOES is launching a new Earth system science data portal today, in which we have put all the MOES data for public consumption. The data portal will be, however, further improved and strengthened. MOES thus poised to strengthen the activities related to its mandate to provide high quality services for socio-economic benefits of the country. I should congratulate all of you for your excellent contribution in developing these services. I would urge each one of you to continue to contribute with sincerity and dedication. I am very proud of your contributions. I also thank Professor Peter Talas, Secretary General of WMO, for kindly agreeing to deliver the MOES Foundation Day lecture. I need not emphasize the fact that it is the dedicated teamwork which helped us to make these huge achievements and progress. I was just leading the team for last 5.5 years or so. So all the credit of this achievement should go to each one of you. I should thank you for standing with me at all the time, including difficult times, and delivering the best what you could do. Once again, hearty congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Rajivan. I would now request Ms. Indra Murthy, Joint Secretary, to declare the MOS National Awards for the year 2021.
Honorable Minister, Secretary, ASNFA of MOES, and all distinguished guests. It's an honor and pleasure to be standing here in front of you to be able to declare the awards for this year. The Ministry of Earth Sciences is mandated to provide the nation with the best possible services for weather, climate, ocean, coastal and natural hazards for the public safety and socio-economic benefits. The ministry also deals with exploration and sustainable harnessing of ocean resources, both living and non-living, and plays a nodal role for Antarctic, Arctic, Himalayas and Southern Ocean research. MOES aims to provide due recognition to major scientific contributions made by eminent scientists, engineers in various fields of Earth system science, and also to encourage women and young researchers for coming into the mainstream of Earth science system. In view of the above, Ministry has instituted Lifetime Excellency Award, National Awards in the field of atmospheric science and technology, ocean science, geoscience and technology, and ocean technology or polar science, 2 Young Research Awards, and Dr. Annamani National Award for Women Scientists. This year, the Lifetime Excellence Award is being awarded to Dr. Satish Shetty for his significant contribution in the field of ocean sciences. He is the former Director, National Institute of Oceanography, Goa, and former VC of Goa University. The National Award for Ocean Sciences is being awarded to Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, Director, CSIR, National Institute of Oceanography, Goa. The National Award for Atmospheric Science and Technology will be presented to Dr. R. Krishnan, Scientist G and Executive Director, Center for Climate Change Research, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. The National Award for Geoscience and Technology will be presented to Dr. Kalachand Sen, Director, Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology. The National Award for Ocean Technology will be presented to Dr. M.V. Ramanamurthy, Director, National Center for Coastal Research, Chennai. Dr. Tara Prabhakaran, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, and Dr. Vandana Prasad, Director, Birbal Sahni Institute of Paleosciences, Lucknow, will share the Annamani Award for Women Scientists. The Young Researcher Awards will be presented to Dr. Waliur Rahman, National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, Goa, and Dr. Kandula V. Subramaniam, Space Physics Laboratory, ISRO. The Certificate of Merit Awards are being presented to Dr. Supriyo Chakravarti, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Dr. O.P. Srijit, India Meteorological Department, Dr. Sudhir Joseph, Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services, Dr. S.B. Pranesh, National Institute for Ocean Technology, Dr. Avinash Kumar, National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, and Dr. S. Kaliraj, National Center for Earth Sciences Studies. It is a bilingual awards function. वैज्ञानिक उपलब्धियों और सम्मान की घोषणा के साथ साथ महोदय, मुझे यह घोषणा करते हुए बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय में राजभाषा संबंधी प्रावधानों का सम्यक अनुपालन किया जाता है। राजभाषा का संवर्धन के लिए राजभाषा विभाग द्वारा पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय को वर्ष 2019-20 का द्वितीय कीर्ति पुरस्कार प्रदान किया गया है। यह पुरस्कार भारत के महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी के कर कमलों द्वारा 14 सितंबर को विज्ञान भवन में आयोजित एक भव्य समारोह में प्रदान किया जाता है। चूँकि वर्ष 2020 में कोविड-19 की वजह से सरकारी आयोजन नहीं हो सका, इसलिए पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय के सचिव महोदय आगामी 14 सितंबर 2021 को महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी को के कर कमलों से यह पुरस्कार प्राप्त करेंगे। पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय की एक मौलिक पुस्तक लेखन योजना है, जिनके अंतर्गत 2018 के लिए डॉक्टर गुलाब कोठारी द्वारा लिखित पृथ्वी विकास के घाव नामक मौलिक हिंदी पुस्तक को द्वितीय पुरस्कार प्रदान किया गया है। पुरस्कार वर्ष के दौरान प्रथम पुरस्कार, तृतीय पुरस्कार एवं प्रोत्साहन पुरस्कार के लिए कोई पुस्तक योग्य नहीं पाई गई है। धन्यवाद।
The scientific programs implemented by the ministry over the years have generated voluminous multidisciplinary data pertaining to atmospheric science, ocean science, polar science, geoscience, and seismology. All these data are being organized and managed by the respective data centers of the MOS institutes. There is a growing demand for the Earth System Science Data Portal from a single source to foster interdisciplinary research and its utilization for several applications. The Earth System Science Data Portal has been developed by the Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services with the support of other institutions of the Ministry of Earth Sciences. This portal is one of its kind platform bringing together the data and information of Earth System Science comprising of different themes and contributes to the Digital India program of the Government of India to transfer India into a digitally empowered society. This portal will be further promoted as an integrated platform for capacity building on Earth system data management and to build a centralized MOS data repository. I now request our chief guest, the Honorable Union Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to inaugurate this Earth System Science Data Portal. I'm also very happy to share that a new MOS web portal has been developed using the common minimum framework with the latest technologies used in government organizations to follow the standard features of the government websites. This new website has been hosted in the National Data Center, which is equipped with the latest security guidelines of NIC. I will now request our chief guest, the Honorable Union Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to inaugurate the new MOS web portal. Thank you, sir. Oil and gas remain the primary energy source despite a surge in the development of non-conventional energy resources and the development of new tools for oil exploration to explore and develop hydrocarbon resources is highly essential. One of the fundamental tools for this is the study of the fluid inclusions in the minerals. Dr. Nandakumar and Dr. Jayanti from the National Center for Earth Science Studies, Institute of MOS, have written a book presenting the results for developing modern approaches of fluid inclusion techniques as a part of the research carried out at NCES. The technique developed during this research was recognized with a patent granted for innovation in the field of geology. And this book will be useful not only for the researchers engaged in the field inclusion studies, but also most importantly, those who are working in the field of oil exploration and prospecting. I will now request our chief guest, the Honorable Union Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to release this book. Thank you, sir. I would now request our chief guest, the Honorable Union Minister for Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to give his address.
Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Dr. Rajivan, Additional Secretary, Mr. Sahai, Ms. Murthy, all the eminent members of the scientific fraternity, the senior officials in the Ministry of Earth Sciences. At the outset, I have to congratulate all of you for having successfully completed 15 years of the Ministry of Earth Sciences, which I believe is one of the youngest ministries in the Government of India. So you still have 3 more years of teenage left before you come of age, and therefore you can always draw all the privileges of a minor by the Constitution of India. But nevertheless, 15 years is a very small period of time in the age of a nation or even in the age of a ministry, but the achievements have been remarkable, the breakthroughs have been very landmark, and I think that also justifies the concept behind the creation of this ministry, because it was earlier part of another ministry as a department, but then realizing the exploration and explosion of knowledge and information happening in this area, I think the founding fathers of this ministry would have conceptualized it, and those who have been part of this ministry and the department from time to time have amply lived up to that expectation. Every ministry or every department has its own uniquenesses which sometimes are not easily noticed because we take it as a routine. But I think one of the exclusive features of this ministry is that it is both unique and holistic. You are simultaneously dealing with the earth, also dealing with the ocean, also dealing with the rains in the sky, also dealing with the cyclones on the bank shores. So virtually your empire spreads all across the universe. So you are known as an earth ministry, but you are virtually flying across the horizons. And if we realize that unique property of this fraternity that we are dealing with, I think that would give us an extreme degree of esteem also and motivation to work further. And of course, it goes without saying that in a short period of time, the various fields in which this ministry has been engaged have actually achieved distinction at the international level. For example, our Indian Meteorological Department is now amongst the best in India, rather best in the world, I would say. And we are already collaborating with 13 other countries, namely Bangladesh, Iran, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, Sri Lanka, to name a few. Just yesterday we were in Cherrapunji, and they were depicting the displays of the first major cyclone that happened in India, the Cyclone of Shillong, infamously known as Shillong Cyclone of 1897. And spontaneously it occurred to me that that is what actually inspired the British Raj then to set up this department of Indian Meteorological, what is known as Indian Meteorological Department. So you are also having in your purview one of the oldest departments, the history of which dates back to the British Raj, the early years of the British Raj. Because 1898 possibly Dr. Rajivan was when it was set up. So it's been almost 1.5 centuries or more. Similarly, today our integrated flood warning system, which has been set up in Mumbai, considering the requirement of it over there, is in itself proving to be a great blessing and actually a great advantage to the natives of Mumbai, who are used to suffer perpetual rains every year. We have a number of Doppler weather radars set up, and I was told 3 most recent of them among were set up, one in Jammu and Kashmir, the other Mukteshwar, and then Kufri. And the new areas that we are venturing into are the artificial rain making, the cloud seeding research experiments. That's why I said the name is Earth Science, but the name is misnomer, or it's only the half name. And now you are also venturing into the sector of energy and power. The other day we had this presentation where Dr. Rajivan was talking about desalination plants, 6 of them already in the pipeline, and one of them I believe already made functional early last year. And the unique part of it, the Deep Ocean Mission, which I think is not only a flagship program for this ministry and aims at exploring the deep sea resources to make India self-reliant in ocean technology, but I would say that it is also very much in keeping with the mission Atmanirbhar Bharat that Honorable Prime Minister has laid down for us. And I was just now some time back discussing that when we plan out programs for the 75th year of independence, as is being done by every ministry, I think Deep Ocean Mission could be one of them, because it befits. And then we could also try to correlate it or connect it with 75 years. Our deep mining is another field. As far as the earthquakes are concerned, there was a question just last week. We already have 115 observatories, and I was saying that in 70 years or 65 years we got 115, and the last few years we have got 35 more. So if you take the average of the early 70 years, it's not more than 2 per year. But in the last 6 to 7 years, under the Modi government, we have been able to set up 35 more. So it's a huge jump considering the requirement and also considering the need to optimally utilize the technology available today. And to that we are going to add, I think this is going to be by year end, all the 35, and then we'll have by 2026 another 50 or so. So I think keeping in times, and I think one of the advantages that Prime Minister Modi has a special temper for science and is also very encouraging and forthcoming as far as promoting the scientific ventures are concerned. And therefore we have an ample opportunity and freedom to give realization to our best of potentials and abilities to whatever extent we have. our experiments at Antarctica, Arctic, Himalaya actually give us a very versatile agenda to function. And in the coming 5 years, which I think would also include the year of 75th year of independence, we are going to have some very ambitious programs being planned, including the development of manned submersible to carry 3 scientists up to the depth of 6,000 meters in the ocean. So since we have also started a process of having coordinated meeting among all the ministries and departments, I think next time you can match it with the space. So almost same time, when Gaganyaan will carry a human being to the sky, and ISRO will be doing that, the Ministry of Earth Sciences would be carrying a human being deep inside the ocean. So it will be simultaneously an Indian human being flying into the space and the other one diving under the Earth surface. And we would be part of that, and this ministry will have the honor of having undertaken that initiative. The integrated mining system is another. Doppler methods are going to be increased in number. And the forecast model is already, as I said, of the world quality, but there is a plan to increase the resolution, particularly for the benefit of farmers, from 12 kilometer from the present 5 kilometer to from the present 12 kilometer. When you reduce it to 5 kilometer, it will be giving you a more precise imaging and more precise interpretation. And I think that will also make this ministry a part of Prime Minister's mission of doubling farmers' income by 2022. So in 75 years, you could have this deep ocean mission as one of the programs, and the other one of this increased resolution of forecast model, which will be a great boon for the farming sector and also will get connected with doubling farming income mission 2022. And last but not the least, the blue economy task that has been assigned to this ministry and the mandate given to the ministry to formulate a blue economy policy is going to be of a very exclusive character, and I'm sure that has the potential to give this ministry an exclusive visibility in Government of India. Because otherwise, if you randomly ask somebody on the wayside, where is the Ministry of Earth Sciences, they would start wondering whether it is a Ministry of the Science or Ministry of the Earth, it is above the earth or under the earth. But when you have an exclusive, because to be noticed or to be registered, you have to have 2 important properties. A, the consistency of your performance, and B, the landmarks of your performance. So consistency we have shown in the last 15 years, that is why we are where we are today. But landmarks are the ones which are awaiting us. One of them would be the deep sea motion. The other one would be sending human being under the ocean. I think we could do a write-up also and circulate it, just as we have been doing for Gaganyaan. And that has now caught the fancy of every country person. And then, of course, the blue economy policy. So I think we should look forward to this with a considerable degree of esteem and also an opportunity. And I once again have to perform the pleasant task of congratulating all the awardees today, the authors of this book, which I am sure is also going to be a good reference book for future researchers and scholars in this area. Thank you very much. I am sure many of us would live to also see the 25th Foundation Day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your warm address. I'm sure it will boost the morale of all our scientists who have been listening to your address. I would now, as a token of our love and respect for the Honorable Union Minister, I would request Dr. Rajivan, Secretary, to present a memento to the our chief guest. I would now request Shri Viswajit Sai, Additional Secretary and FA, to propose the vote of thanks.
Shri Jitendra Singh, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Union Minister of State, Independent Charge, Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Minister of State PMO for DOPT at Atomic Energy, Space, our chief guest for the day, Dr. Rajivan, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, and the leader of this department, this ministry, Ms. Indra Murthy, Joint Secretary, MOES, former secretaries and directors, colleagues from the ministry, eminent scientists, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks at the end of the MOES Foundation Day function. I think the enthusiasm was palpable as the Honorable Minister was here, and he was able to lift the spirits of all of us. He's made very critical observations, important observations regarding this ministry, the uniqueness of the ministry, the history of the department of IMD, and the future that lies ahead. So both the past and the future have been captured in the with a brief on the deep ocean mission, the blue economy policy. We will try and rise to your expectations, sir. Thank you very much for being here. Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences has always been provided leadership and guidance to the ministry, and in his stewardship, the 15th MOES Foundation Day has been held. We are extremely grateful to Professor Petteri Talas, Secretary General, World Meteorological Organization, for sending the video recording of the Foundation Day lecture. It was a very illuminating lecture for all of us. My congratulations on behalf of the entire forum to the national awardees, the winners of certificates of merit for scientists and engineers, and the winners of the Best Employee Awards. I'm sure the encouraging words of the Honorable Minister will give a long way in strengthening your resolve for delivering a good performance for the ministry. We would like to thank all our former secretaries, directors, colleagues from MOES institutes, friends from the media who've watched this function live through webcasting. Last but not least, I thank all my colleagues from MOES who have helped in organizing this Foundation Day function. Thank you.
All of you are requested to join for the high tea in the adjacent room.